So I got laid off, and here I am procrastinating filming this exact video. Let's get it, up we go. And here I am just preparing my makeup for the video. Yeah. Welcome back to my channel, folks. Welcome. I got laid off. Yeah. So that's that's my most recent update. And how am I doing? Honestly, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing fine. It's a blessing that the company I was at gave us a really long heads up, so I knew that it was very much a possibility that I would get laid off since December, which is 3 months ago. So I had time to mentally prepare, to logistically think of what I want to do in the case of a layoff. So I feel like I already went through a lot of the shock, grieving process, and sadness. The worst part of it for me definitely was going to the office and getting all my stuff and just seeing my empty desk and saying goodbye to everybody in person. That was hard. And it just made me think back to when I first came to Seattle and had this job, and I was really excited about it. Yeah, so a lot of nostalgia and also sadness around just not being able to work with my coworkers anymore, who are all extremely talented game developers, game whatevers. They're in the industry in some sort of way. And the people at my company were all amazing, and it's sad to think that I might not find a group of people like that ever again. Although I don't want to think that way, I don't want to limit myself like that. It's just a thought that pops up in my head because I do acknowledge that what I had at the game studio I was at was very special. Very special. However, deep down, I choose to believe that it's only the start to a journey, and I will find very creative people to surround myself with in the future still. And it's not just a permanent ending to that narrative. But I have a lot of gratitude in terms of how much I was able to learn from these people, not only in terms of skills, but even more so interpersonally. I always felt very cared for on a human level, which I feel like at the end of the day, that's the most important thing ever. It really taught me what healthy communication is, even outside of a work environment. And I definitely had a lot of very healing moments where the response I had from my manager, my coworkers, really shocked me because of how understanding they were and how supportive, and how the people I worked with would build me up instead of just tearing me down, which I was so used to before I was at this company. So gratitude for that. And what's next? Well, like I said, I've had a lot of time to already think about what's next. And I actually have known for a while that staying at a 9-to-5 indefinitely is not really the right path for me personally. I was getting really burnt out by working 9 to 5, and I feel like the environment I was in with my work was already so supportive in comparison to your typical 9 to 5 work environment. And the fact that I was already burning out and struggling in this really amazing setup, it was just indicative that 9 to 5 is not for me. So moving forward, I want to focus more on my own personal projects, and those are my main goals for this year. I still will be kind of looking for work, mostly so I can fulfill my unemployment benefits requirements. I don't know if I should be saying that on a YouTube channel, but I will be at least looking for work seriously in that regard. However, really my main focus will be this YouTube channel. I like how I posted like, what's in the future for this YouTube channel video. That's the last video I posted, and I kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a month. And I'm back. And I got laid off. Yeah. But there are actually a lot of positives to getting laid off for me personally. It sucks that it came with a lot of other people at my company getting laid off together, and the company just not going through, the company ain't doing the bestest, is what I'll say. And I wish that weren't the case, but for me personally, getting laid off has a lot of actually benefits, because I am burnt out, and I feel like this is going to be such a good time for me to recover and work on my own stuff. So I'm actually just I feel very blessed to be in this position. And then the other thing besides YouTube, which will mostly just be documenting my life and documenting these other endeavors I have, is going to be oh yes, I'm gonna be working on stickers, and hopefully like a snail mail service where people can sign up for a monthly subscription box of stickers and journaling thingies. And maybe I'm thinking I could put a letter, like a tiny letter about something esoteric in every snail mail that I send monthly. And that's also going to be a website with stickers, etc., art prints on it. And then I want to start up my teaching business, and it will be a language learning service. I'm focused on English right now because my native tongue is English. I did tutor languages for a bit before. I had maybe peak 4 students, and I was also tutoring Japanese, but I feel like it was a struggle because my Japanese is pretty rusty, and I was always really paranoid that I wasn't teaching properly. But with English, that's not so much an issue because I'm a native speaker. And languages is one of my special interests, so I have lots of opinions, and that's something I'm excited about. I recently watched the K-drama, Can This Love Be Translated? I don't have a lot of celebrity crushes, but I really do like the male lead. I am a fan of the male lead and his other K-dramas he's been in. Maybe I'll put a little photo of the K-drama poster. That was such an inspiring K-drama because it was about translation, instantaneous translation. And I know a lot of people be like, wow, in the age of AI, Can you tell that I'm doing okay even though I got laid off? Okay, in the urge of AI, why the fuck would you need a language tutor or whatever, instantaneous translator? There are reasons, and if you know, you know. I don't really want to go into it right now, so I'm not going to. There's gonna be plenty of time for that. But it was so cool seeing just somebody on screen who knows a lot of languages, and I'm so into the concept of being a polyglot. And of course, here on this channel, we don't only worship the goal, polyglot, but we also enjoy the process. And I think the process of acquiring a language is so fulfilling and so good for tapping into just hope and human connection and opening doors and opportunities and all that awesome stuff. So it's something I'm passionate about, and I definitely want to develop my teaching through my own process of learning languages. I am going to Bali pretty soon, so I'm thinking maybe I can do some speed learning Indonesian and post it onto the channel. Longer term goal is to learn French, so maybe some stuff for that will be coming, but the main focus definitely will be establishing this language learning service. And yes, of course, the YouTube channel is here to record the process of that. And if any of you have been watching my van conversion series, you might be wondering what's happening with the van build. I took a break temporarily because it was raining unpredictably and messing up everything. So I was like, just gonna put that on hold. And the weather has been looking up. So that's definitely back on the table. The thing is, I already have a lot on my plate, and I've had to take care of a lot of logistical things post layoff. And I'm just trying to take care of that all by the end of this week, and so far it's looking good. I was so overwhelmed earlier this week. Who knew not having to work makes doing all this logistical admin errand stuff so much easier. It's just like my expectation for how stressful it is more stressful than it was to actually take care of all the stuff. It was annoying still, yes, of course. Yeah, so it's back on the table. However, because I just got laid off, I know it's going to take me a while to establish a routine that I'm really, really happy with, and I am so thankful to finally have the space to even have more of a chance of success when it comes to establishing a really good routine and glowing up in that regard. Because I've been trying to do it for ages, but it's been hard. It's been really hard. And I feel like I have one less excuse now, one less big excuse, because I don't need to worry about working and getting certain tasks done for my livelihood at the moment. So I'm taking these couple of weeks more slowly. I'm also taking care of a close friend's cats, but they're cute, so let's call them kitties. So that's taking up a lot of my spoons too. Yeah, but after this week, I think I'm just gonna take a 1 week to still do all this stuff at my own pace, but without too much pressure. And then I'm gonna start setting a routine more diligently after that week. So yeah, 2 weeks later. And I think I'll document that process here just what my routine and goals are, what habits I want to hit every day, and I want to share that. And then once I feel like I have a structure in place for my unemployed life, I will probably start working on the van again. But right now, I'm just acknowledging I know that I don't quite have the space for that project, and the priority is definitely language learning, service, the sticker business, and YouTube documentation of everything. And establishing habits, experimenting with habits surrounding those, so I have a really good system to do what I love. Yeah, so that's the current plan, and maybe I'll do a video going into a deeper dive of my finances as a general thing, because I'm sure y'all are curious. If I were you, I would be really curious. But I have money saved up. I also have a severance from my company. Thank you, company. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Yeah, and then I did apply for unemployment, but I still have to wait to see how that goes. Hopefully it goes through without any issues. I know that it will go through. It's just a matter of when and what, if I need to go through extra process to get that, to get those benefits. But currently with my savings, I have, I'll just put numbers because I want to be transparent, and I'm okay with sharing that personal information. But for personal savings, I have about 20K in my savings that I've saved up over the years. And then in my checkings, I have around 4,000, but that's all stuff that I need. That's all money that I need to use pretty immediately. And then I have retirement savings as well, but obviously I can't really touch that for short term. That basically is not really something I want to access, because honestly just the payoff is not good, because of course there's penalties and taxes and yada 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 yada. It's not worth it. But just for information's sake, I have in total, I'm actually not sure the exact amount, but I think I have around 55 or 50K in my retirement savings. Something around that number, 50 to 60, something around that. And that's a combination of my Roth IRA and the 401k that work gave me. Unfortunately, for work, they didn't really match. They didn't have any matching for retirement, which kind of sucks. They only had a small match the first year I worked with them, and then they kind of took it away. But I worked my ass off to save up that retirement amount, and per my calculations, that's enough for that's already enough for very frugal coast fi, for those of you who know your fire stuff. So I don't know, I have mixed feelings about retirement. So I feel like coast fi, I have enough that it would hopefully compound to the point where when I get to retirement age, I can just live off of that money really frugally, and that's enough for me, where I don't really want to worry about retirement ever. And that just gives me peace of mind, being somebody who didn't grow up super affluent or anything like that. I've definitely had money insecurity, feelings. So just morally too, that's where I feel good. And I just don't want to ever have to worry about retirement. again. Plus, there's a lot of places in the world where people don't even work, like they don't even stress about retirement. So I think people are actually happier sometimes without that worry and that constant thinking about money, money, money. And I want to live more like that. So it feels really good to not have to worry about that. And sometimes I'm like, well, it would be nice if I had that money in cash or in stocks instead of retirement. But alas, I am happy still with my decision. Yeah. And since I'm here, I think I'll just keep going into detail. But a portion of the retirement savings I have is also from a college fund I had, because I won this art competition when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I got a prize of like $5,000 at the time, and that was a while ago. And then my parents were just putting a bit of money every year into that for a while to go toward college, but I never went to college. Like, I decided that wasn't for me because I didn't want crippling student debt. I'm so glad I listened to myself in that regard. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, that's to say part of that retirement fund isn't even something I could take out because it's transferred from the college fund, because it's already been 10 years since that fund was created. So I like, even if I wanted to have it in cash, I couldn't have it in cash anyway. And then the severance I have is, I got severance of 2.5 months, which is really good. 2 months was the baseline, and because I've been at my company, or I should say, I had been at my company for over 3 years, I got another half month for that 3-year increment. And if unemployment goes through and all, that should be about $1,050 or $1,100 every week for 6 months, which is hella good. And yeah, it's really amazing because I worked really hard and I did get promoted pretty frequently the past year or so, which has helped so much. I'm very comfortable and just really grateful to be in this position. Because when I started working, I was making almost $80K, I think, a year. And it's pretty good, but in Seattle, it actually, living as like a single person, it doesn't get you super, super far. And just having higher salary than that in a high cost of living city, the breathing room, that extra cushioning can give you is very beneficial. Yeah, it's very significant. Yeah, but that's where I'm at. And what's funny is before all of this, I was actually planning on saving a year, so that, like, a year's worth of savings, so that I could take a sabbatical for a year and just do my own thing. But I wasn't planning for that to happen until a future date. I kind of made this promise to myself when I joined this studio and started this job that I would give it 5 years and see how I felt at the end of 5 years about what I wanted to do next in my life. whether that be continue in the game industry, trying to start my own startup, or do something completely different. And it's because, I don't know, I feel like I've always jumped around a lot from thing to thing. But over these past few years, I've learned so much about myself. And I have a lot less self-blame when it comes to who I am, what I want to do with my life, and these decisions. I think I've grown up with a lot of manipulation and control and guilting about who I am and my choices. And these past 3 or 4 years, becoming my own person and having my own big girl job, it's really taught me a lot about taking control of my own life and not feeling guilty for who I am and what I want from life. Just being okay with it and going with the things that life brings me, the challenges that it brings me, and seeing things a lot less black and white. I'm hoping that even though layoffs suck, I hope everyone who is affected can just continue forward with what the universe has in store for them, and just look back fondly at the years that they were with the company, and just take it with positivity. But also it's okay to feel really sad and confused. I think another thing that helped me a lot was these past few years, I've been in therapy and worked a lot with separating my identity from work and what I produce. And I think that also just comes as a byproduct from living in Seattle. I feel like if you surround yourself with the right crowd in Seattle, people really value people over what they produce. And it's so anti-hustle culture, which is interesting because this is a tech hub and full of a lot of tech companies where hustle is promoted. But the thing is, whenever there's an extreme somewhere, there's going to be like a counterculture that comes up. So Seattle is very like anti-capitalist. We hate capitalists, we hate billionaires kind of thing. So inevitably, I think living here, you're gonna learn more about how to value yourself as a person and like have anger toward the system that forces us to work. Because of that, I've definitely separated myself from my work. Not fully, but a lot more so than I used to be. Like, my ego used to be so tied up to my job, and people treat you differently when you got a cool job, okay? That's the truth of it. And I didn't feel like I was worth anything before I had this job, truly. But losing this job, I did have a moment or like a couple of days where it felt very strange, where I was like, who am I? Or like I put so much value in this version of me who had these skills and knew how to work with these people to make cool games and stuff. And that was definitely a part of my identity. And it felt confusing to lose that and not have that to go back to when I felt worried about the future or insecure about money or whatever. But I think my ego is pretty untied to work. I want to say work as more like as in having a 9-to-5 job. It's not super tied into that as giving me value as a human. So I'm feeling pretty okay about it. Like don't feel super depressed and like I have an existential crisis. Not at all, because I think I know who I am, and my job was only a small part of who I am, and I can still do those things and seek out similar people or keep in contact with people I enjoyed working with after the layoff. Still, I can still do all those things, and who I am as a person hasn't really shifted at all, really, because I don't have that job anymore. Yeah. And yeah, I have work that I still want to do. So I don't know, I feel equally motivated pretty much, maybe even a little bit more motivated, dare I say. But I am tired. I am tired, so I am giving myself some grace to rest through this period of transition. And yeah, I hope to document it and bring you all along with me. I think that is all I have to say for now. I've been yapping. I don't know how long I've been yapping for, but I'm gonna post this. I'm feeling nervous about posting it, but how do I end this video? Okay, bye.